Hello everybody and welcome again to BiGG Fusion Tips. We are live once again and had some time tonight and had some awesome comments here as of recent with questions on things that they need help with or just would like to get some interest. I'm trying to still get everything set up, so make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to. All right, we are going to get started. So, thank you everybody who reached out and left comments. I really appreciate you guys doing all that. It really helps me kind of get engaged with you guys, come up with ideas, things that you need answered. So I really appreciate it. So what we are going to cover today are several things. One of them being, how do you get to the point where you 3D print a part once you're done designing it? Well, we're going to answer that because on Fusion it's honestly really simple and it's pretty straightforward, and we're going to go ahead and answer that. Let's go back to this one. Was from John McLaughlin 3906. Shout out to you. So in order to pull up a design that you just got done with, we're going to go ahead and use this as a sample. It kind of looks like a little kitchen basket. Just kind of got done with this one. So what you would normally do once you're done is you will go over to where your utilities are. I think there's different ways that you can go about 3D printing things. This way is honestly the way I do it all the time. You can go over to this, highlight it, it's 3D print. Basically, all you got to do is click on it, and you can, if you have a slicer already on your computer that you utilize, whether it's Bamboo Labs or it's Cura that's with Enter 3D printers, or any of the other slicers, honestly, as long as you have it installed, you should be able to select your particular slicing software that you want to use. So preparation type, I have mine set to print utility. This will allow me to hook up any kind of slicer that I want to set up with it. So I have Bamboo Lab right now as my default. I can always go from Cura, Preform, or Prusa Slicer. Any preference that you have on slicer, you can go ahead and utilize. So once you have all that selected, you would highlight the part that you designed that you want to 3D print. So we're going to highlight it. As you see, it's become blue. Format, it has different types of ways that you can export it. Honestly, I really never use any of these other ones. If you highlight over them, it'll kind of give you a rundown of what it is. You can always Google it too. Usually I just go with the STL binary. You can do a preview, which gives you all your more in-depth look of all your, what is that? Not probably polygons, all your more detailed stuff. Your triangle count right there, exactly. I don't usually have that on. You can go in and you can refine your settings. Usually I just leave mine alone. Once you're done, you'll hit OK, and then it will launch into your slicer of choice. Once you have done that, you are basically home free in your slicer, ready to do. Man, that is a really big piece that is not going to fill it on that build plate. I made that too big. This was just a sample. Didn't think that through. But honestly, this is how you get to your slicer through Fusion 360. It's, like I said, really easy, pretty streamlined. They make it super simple, and that's really all there is to it as far as that's concerned. So there we go. So the next part we're going to touch on that John McLaughlin also ask questions about is how to make a custom sketched title block. So whenever you design your original design and you go to the sketch and you lay out your diagram, if you want to send it to like a machinist or anywhere like that, how do you make a sketch sheet with a title block that's already like a template but has your logo on it? So we're going to now shift over to that. So this would be any way you would launch into your Fusion 360. It's the basic layout, nothing's been created. What you would do to create a template is you're going to go up to your file window up here on the top, and you're going to go down to new drawing template. So we're going to click on that. The template, we're going to create a new one from scratch. As you can see, I already have one created, but we're going to do from scratch. We're going to use, these are like your standardization. I'm just going to use ISO. Units, you want to use millimeters, inches. Sheet size that you want to use. Any sheet size that you want to use on any other future products or projects, you would want to obviously change that if you need different paper sizes. You can choose the orientation, whether it be landscape, or if you want it to be a portrait, that's what you would highlight there on that one. So we'll go ahead and press OK. We're then brought into our sheet here that's already been created. As you can see here, we have our title block. And in order to get a logo in our title block, we need to customize or edit that title block. So we're going to go up here to where it says Sheet Settings. We're going to do this drop down right here. We're going to click on this title block, and we're going to right click it, and then we're going to edit the title block. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and name this what we want our title block to say. Let's just do custom logo title block. Okay, so now it pops us open on this. So in order to add a logo, a personal logo, we are going to, first off, you're going to want to get a logo that's not detailed. You want something that's really easy to read, that's just black and white, no backdrop, anything like that. That would be your best, most ideal. I would say probably a PNG would be your best bet as far as that's concerned. So once you have that, I'm going to go up here to where it says Insert, and I'm going to insert it from my computer. And here's the one that I just made right here. And this is where you're going to place your logo. So I'm just going to connect it right here. I am then going to go over this little box right here, and we're going to start lowering this. It's very tedious. I'm going to try and center this as best I can, probably right about there. You can even change the scale. You're going to have to adjust what where you want to position it, once again, your rotation if you want to, and all that jazz. So once I'm done, I'm going to hit OK. And the great thing about this, everything else on here is customizable, or it should be. If you want to delete something, you should be able to highlight it, get rid of it. If you want to reposition something, these also are movable. You'll just have to watch, because if you aren't careful, they will separate from the other title block. And you should be able to use the extend tool in order to extend it. And I believe there's even a trim tool, just like in your regular. Yeah, exactly. So you can customize all this stuff. You can add things, change all of this. So we also have this dialog box over here. If you want to show the border or not show the border, show the layout grid, snapped grid, all that. Color, line width, line type, continuous, center, hidden, phantom, all that jazz. So now we're going to finish the title block. So now we have our logo on here. Now, as far as saving this, we can normally do it how we do here, and you can go up to your name, and you can actually name this this document or this sheet that's customized with your logo on it. I would name it, you know, for this I'm just going to put logo test. And as far as your location, you can actually store this in Fusion. You can even separate it in your different different projects and all that. What I have done was I made a location specifically for 2D sketch templates. So once I've done that, I can save it, and that will be a preset in my data panel. You can also export it as well if you want to do export PDF, export DWG, export sheet as a DXF. So many different options as far as that's concerned. So that is a handy way to have a template already made for your sheets for laying out all your diagrams and your orthographic top, front, right views for anything you would need. So not too hard, but it is a little bit of messing around. So yeah, that's that one. Let's see what else we've gotten here as far as questions. Profile and a path. Already answered that one. Then some other things I just kind of thought of that I've never gone over before in previous videos. So let's see, I've got a list here, some different things. Renderings. Renderings are very, very neat. These are for once you're done making or designing a product or a part or whatever have you. If you want something to make it look photorealistic, Fusion 360 already has something built in that works pretty darn good. So in order to achieve this, as you can see, you can already go ahead in here. You can go to your physical material. You've got a whole list of different ceramics, fabric, glass, liquid metal, plastic, stone, wood, all that. It's really filled with all sorts of amazing things you can do with it already. Once you have your material, you can even go to the appearance. You can make it look you can make it look like plastic, a different color, different types of plastic. You can do paint, glossy metal. It's really, really neat, honestly, that they put all this in here. Anyway, if we want to make it look photorealistic, we can go ahead and go to our portion up here where it says design. We can drop down to where it says render, and it takes us to this tab. You can pretty much navigate it the same way that you normally would. The neat thing about this is you can choose a whole bunch of different environments that you would want to use to put this on. So you have this one here, which makes it look like it's out in the middle of the desert somewhere on a highway. I'm not exactly sure why I want this. It probably just depends on what you're using this for. But there's that. You've got cool light. All of these have different lighting conditions where the direction hits, all these things. What's also nice about this, let's see if I can download it. I can't download that one. What's also nice about this is you can customize the backdrops and all these things to make it look even more realistic through something called HDRIs. HDRIs are basically photos that are basically wrap around, basically what you're seeing right here, like that road that we were on. It makes it have a background and something to sit on to make it more realistic looking. So one great resource that I found from somebody else is a place called I believe it's Polyhaven. Polyhaven is a great resource. As you can see here, I've even left a link down in the description below of this website with the URL. So if you come to Polyhaven, you can go to this tab that says Assets, and you can click on HDRIs, and it will give you a whole library of different photos, different environments of things that you would want to make your product look like it's on. So if you designed a car part and you want to put it on the road, fine. If you want to put it in somebody's living room, if you want to put it in a workshop, it's really full of all sorts of great things. It looks like it has 886 different environments that you can choose from. These are free to download. You can download these. Obviously, is definitely recommended to help these guys out that upload these, because these are an excellent resource. So you can actually download these to your computer, and I'll show you how these work. So once you have it downloaded, you can go all the way down on this. Like I said, it's over here in the scene settings. You can go to your environment library. You scroll all the way down with these ones that are already preloaded in here. And you, right here, replace custom environment. If you click on this, right here, we have EXR Studio. If I open this, it will now open one of these downloadable environments that you could put your part on. Make it look a little bit more realistic. And you can even further adjust these settings, just kind of playing around with them. Lets you kind of tinker, see what settings you want to put. You can go to your exposure, you can lower the lighting, you can brighten it to the point where you blow it out. You can make it a little bit darker. Your focal length you can even change. Depending on certain things, you might want to do that. I don't know. You can, yes, flatten the ground. If there is a time where you use these environments and it's just floating in the middle of the air, obviously that's not good, and you don't want it to look like it's floating in the middle of the air. So you would come over to this ground and you would hit flatten ground, and it should put you put your product or whatever it is on the ground, wherever it is. You can also position this wherever you want to. I think that moves the actual part around on the surface. If you want more lighting, I think it adjusts to that as well. Ground scale. Viewport aspect ratio. Yeah, so really it is a really neat resource. Texture map controls. I really have not messed around with these a whole lot, but there are so many different options that I'm not even going to go into detail on. You can do in-canvas render. You can take images from it. It'll let you decide what size you want these things to be. It's really awesome. You can do the appearance in here as well, it looks like. Honestly, I haven't even really touched a whole lot of things in here in a long time. Usually I just straight to the 3D printer, but it is really nice that it has this option built into Fusion, and I really enjoy this. And it's just as easy as that. You can always come back into here, go back into your design space, and go back and readjust something if it needs to be changed, and whatever have you. All right, another topic I've never touched on before is bodies versus components. I think I may have touched on it a few times, but basically what bodies versus components it's kind of like I'm just going to start creating a bunch of random things, just real quickly. Gonna make cylinders, just these quick shapes, just to kind of get some stuff here. This new body. Okay. Let me do some filleting, some chamfering. Let's do some chamfers, etc. Looking really funky, but that's okay. Rechamfer. Man, looks like abstract art. Okay. Okay. Now, as you can see, I just created a bunch of some interesting shapes and objects. Now, the problem with this is it all went into these bodies tabs. Oh, this one I actually probably should have made it a new body. Oops, new body. Okay, so now I made all these shapes. Now in order to go find these, if I want to specifically handle one or the other or select them, I would go to this bodies tab and all of them would be right in here, which is fine. And you can name them to kind of keep them straightened out. But the problem is it's not very organized. I mean, look at this. I made all of these different changes on here, and as you know down here, this is like your history of things that you've done to all of your objects. Well, if you're creating several things in one project, and it's got a lot of moving pieces, a lot of chamfers on each part, that history is going to be super long. You're not going to know exactly where something was that you need to change or modify. So it's going to make it really difficult, and it's going to be really hard to find. So the difference between just doing it through bodies and making a component for each thing is a matter of organization and keeping things straight and not getting confused in the long run. So normally I would suggest, and I think it's just good practice all the way around, is by creating a new component. A new component is going to filter and sort each individual piece that you are working on into its own folder, essentially, and it's going to keep a history only of everything in that folder, and it's going to make things a lot more neat and tidy. So in order to do this, you would come over to your new component. There are probably other ways to do this. This is just how I do it. You can adjust the type of your component you're going to be doing, whether it's just a standard solid piece, sheet metal, PCB, external, internal. You can hover over these things to get more information from it. We will just call this box. And from bodies, we don't actually have a body because we're starting from scratch, so we don't need to worry about that. The parent will be the name of your project, whatever you whatever you save it as. And once we're done, we want to activate this thing. So now we're going to go to a box. We're going to create a box, and we're going to go right here, create that. Perfect. Now, as you can see, we have this thing that's a box. And within this box tab, we can do bodies. It'll even do sketches, all that. So the next thing is we're going to create a new component. But first, I would say, before you do that, if you are creating a new body, typically what I do is I come up to here. This is what I would say would be the parent file. It's usually what I do. Otherwise, it'll tie it to your initial box component that you made. So I would go over here, highlight this. This would be your parent that's activated. I'm going to click on New Component, and I'm going to write cylinder. And not from bodies because we're going to create it. the parent we've already selected. We're going to hit OK. Now as you can see, this one has become kind of like shadowed out, and now we're going to go on to our cylinder. We're going to create it on our plane here. We're just going to make a 60mm cylinder. There we go. Now as you can see, this one is highlighted and it has its own history. So if I go back up to the box and I highlight this, it'll be right here. So let's say I've got my cylinder and I want to go back over to my box. Right now we're going to go over and we're going to chamfer all these edges. And then we'll fillet these edges. Let's say we want to put a hole through here. Center it. Now as you can see, all these things that I've done to this one piece are staying in this area right here. And as you can see, we have the origin, the bodies, all that. This will even work on sketches too. If we want to make a sketch on here, we're going to want to make sure that this box area is highlighted because this is what we want to add to or make changes to. We'll go ahead and make another box on top of this. Go ahead and I don't like all these definings. This is my least favorite thing to do. Alright, we defined our sketch. We're going to extrude another square. We're going to join it. As you can see, we also, after I did that, it just created this sketch drop down. So we've got our bodies, our sketches, and it keeps it all nicely tucked away in this box file. Now let's say, oh, we've gotten that done. We want to go back over to our cylinder. As you can see, our history right here is still just this little cylinder that we created. It doesn't have all the history of all the things that we've done specifically to this box. So, like I said, this is a very nice, clean, handy way to keep things organized, especially when you're dealing with a lot of parts. If you're putting a lot of different components into one sketch and you're not referencing from other individual sketches, this component option is really going to save you a lot of time, headache, frustration, really everything down the road. So hopefully that kind of breaks it down and makes things a little bit, make a little bit more sense. And that's kind of the best way that I can describe it. I would recommend it anytime. Just get into the habit of doing it because it really, really is handy. So we're going to go on to another portion that isn't really talked about in any of my previous videos I've done, and that is parameters. Parameters are really amazing, but actually, before we go into parameters, I want to show you guys a really nice, handy way of accessing things quickly, hotkeys, essentially. So I was doing a live stream last time, and I had a viewer watching, and he reminded me of something that I just completely forgot and failed to do, and it really is really handy. And I want to let you guys know if I've never done it before. For one thing, there is also a option by right-clicking. So if you're working on something, you create a sketch, you know, you do your sketch, you finish it, you extrude it and all that, you can actually right-click, and directly up top is a tool, or is an option that keeps track of every tool you use the very last time you used it. So I did a sketch and then I did an extrude, and what pops up here? An extrude. So if I didn't do that, if I undo that, if I right click, okay, it's still keeping it. Let's say I make another sketch. So I'm going to right click on this face, or I'm going to highlight this face because I want to use this as my point where I'm going to sketch on. I'm going to right click, and I can actually edit a sketch, or I can create a sketch based on this. I can also highlight here and hit create sketch. I'm gonna make a circle and I'm done. So now when I right click, what's the last thing it's going to be? I'm not sure. It should be sketch. I'll show you a different example because the sketch option isn't working. Let's just say we're going to make a cylinder. Make it on this plane, cylinder, boom. So I'm going to right click. What's the option up at the top? It is repeat cylinder. So that is a pretty quick way of getting in the habit of doing things quickly, adding tools that you just used that you want to use again. There are some things that are also on here. There you got your press pull option hole. These might be different on your program just because the way you have it laid out. You have all these other options as well. The next one I want to talk about is your S key. Your S key is a shortcut then you can customize. So if you hit the S key, you have a little box that pops up and it says design shortcuts. Now, I already loaded in a lot of different tools that I use frequently that I have added to here. Now, how you do that, if you find yourself using a lot of the same tools, I would suggest you add it to this little pop-up toolbar. How you do that is you can hit one of these drop downs, whether it be modify or create. Let's say you use the revolve tool a lot. Right here are these three little dots. If you click on them, you can pin them to the toolbar, which basically puts them up here, or you can pin to shortcuts. So that's that little dialog box with the S key. So I already have this one checked on there because I use it pretty good. You can also change the keyboard shortcut to a key that's not already assigned to something. So if I hit the S key, our revolve is on here somewhere, and I have added several things on here that are very handy to have. But also, after you hit the S key, it already automatically puts you ready to type in something in your search bar. So let's just say I wanted to add a draft. Okay, so I just hit the D key and automatically it pulls up all the D tools that are available in this program. So as you can see, it starts out with decal, but there's also that draft. And you can toggle this with your arrows on your keyboard, and you can hit enter, and then you can go and do your draft. So that works with anything. So that would be, you want to do shell, you can do this one. This one's actually, I think, a surface shell. This one's your solid shell. So if you want to make a shell, you can do that. So really a handy, quick way of accessing all these things. All right, next up, as I was going to say, parameters are a really awesome way of editing your bodies that you've created quickly, and it saves time from you having to go back into the sketch that you made at the beginning of it and resizing and throwing things off. This is a great tool. Let me show you how to do this. So if you go up to the Modify tab, you go down here where it says Change Parameters. I have also added this to my shortcut list because I access it. So let's say you're thinking ahead, you're gonna create something like a little basket or something. Well, if you already think things through and you already know kind of what you're gonna be doing as far as the size of it goes, height, all that, then this is gonna come in handy. This is your parameters tab. And if you utilize it, this is a very powerful tool. So in order to do this, I'm going to show you an example of how to actually get it set up first off. You're going to go, like I said, to this Modify tab, change parameters. You're going to go to this Add User Parameter. So you're going to make a custom one. Just gonna hit this cut. So now what I'm gonna do is actually, instead of a basket, I'll just call it a box, just for saving a space of me typing out everything. And these are things where you can customize what you want to call each piece as long as you remember what it is. You have to you can't use spaces in the name. It has to be all one word. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in box, and then I'm going to do an uppercase W for width. You can do your unit of measurement, which I like millimeters. Your expression is going to be the size of what you want it to be. So I have box width, and I want the box width to be 300, maybe 250 millimeters. We'll do 250 millimeters, so put 250. You can add a comment if you want to remember something. I don't know why exactly you'd use it, but you can enter comments if you want to. Once you're done, you hit OK. So that's our box width. I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to enter another one. I'm going to do box D for depth. Same thing. Let's do 150 millimeters. Hit OK. Then we're going to go to box H for height. Let's do 50 millimeters. Okay. So once we have that, we're going to go here. I'm going to go ahead and create a box. I'm just going to use one of these quick 3D tools. Once I hit this box, I'm going to choose the plane in which I want to use. This one. And then going to, okay, so we have our first one that's highlighted. As you see, it's the blue one. I'm going to do box depth. So that would be box D. That would be the 150 millimeter that I created. Once I do that, it automatically made that my 150 millimeters. So now I'm going to hit tab to go to the other box. And then I'm going to put box W for width. I'm going to hit enter. It automatically goes to that, I believe, 250 millimeters that we already created. So I'm going to hit enter. It's going to create our box. Now it's going to want me to specify the height of what I want to make. So I'm going to do box H, and I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to add that automatic 50 millimeter height that we started out with. And this is just a really powerful tool. You can even make things on the fly. Let's see if we can get this basket or box to concave a little bit. Let's do a draft. I'm gonna do pole direction on the bottom. Faces, I'm gonna do I want more than two sides on the draft, so I'm gonna do symmetric. Let's see here. It's been a while since I've used a draft, if I'm honest. Symmetric, tangent chain. No, we don't want tangent chain. Oh, it wants me to specify my degrees. I'm gonna put 0 for right now because I don't want to specify that. I'll do that after I highlight all these. Okay, now we will go here and do 10. And let's pole direction. Okay, there we go. That way it kind of gives us a kind of basket shape. I'll hit OK. Okay, so now you can also make parameters right here without having to go into that parameters tab. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a shell, and I'm going to click this top portion here, and I'm going to type in, because with the shell we're going to leave just the edges, so we want this to be edge thickness. we'll do edge thick, and then we'll do equals 5. Okay, so now we have created a parameter. If we go to our parameters, it goes to favorites. I guess that basically just kind of differentiates it from one that was already created versus one that you created right there using just the little pop-up dialog box of how wide you want it. So now that we got that, we can do some more of those. Let's go ahead and fillet these inner edges. And right here, as you see, you know, where you specify it, asks you, let's do infill. And then equals, let's do 5. No, let's do 10, or let's do 19. Infill equals 19. Kind of bothers me. Okay, infill 19. Okay, got it. Perfect. And technically I probably could use that same thing for the out because I want it to match as well. So infill 19 millimeters, I can do that, and it will also round that. So it's kind of a really neat deal, and I'll kind of show you why you would want to do this. Because normally, especially if you sketch something and you do a lot of things and you go through and you chamfer and you fill it, all these different things, if you want to resize your initial or original part that you created, you want to just change the size a little bit, you'd have to go back to your sketch, you'd have to re-dimension it, you'd have to do all these things, and it would throw off a lot of things. Not to say this won't, but if you do it correctly, it should resize everything correctly. So I'll show you kind of what I mean just here in a minute. I'll go ahead and create a parameter, but I will use it with my S key shortcut. As you can see, I have change parameters right here. Leave this dialog box. Okay, I'm going to put bottom fill for a bottom fillet, and let's do 15 millimeters. Okay, so I'm going to go to my fillet with the F key, and I'm going to do bottom. As you can see, it already popped up 15 millimeters. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to fillet my bottom piece. And I'll also do the same thing. I'll add another one, another fillet. And I'll do bottom fillet, and it will highlight right there. So this is kind of really helpful when you're doing a lot of different changes and things down the road. I'll even show you what you can do with this. Change parameters. If you want to change the box width, all you have to do is go here and hit 200, and it will resize on the fly. You don't have to go back in and change a bunch of things. So that's a lot of the different tools that I had never gone over before and wanted to go over tonight. Had some time to do it, but hopefully that is helpful for you guys, and hope to do some more live streams in the future. So if anybody has any questions or suggestions, things we should do, then definitely let me know, and we'll try to get those things answered for you. So thanks guys for watching. Until next time, have a good one.